Officer Collins's frustration rises as he continues to watch Dr. Roberts, her composure an unyielding presence in the growing tension. His fingers twitch, itching for control. He clears his throat, but his voice cracks as he speaks again. "I asked for your ID, ma'am. Now." Dr. Roberts doesn't flinch. Her eyes never leave his. She stands steady, still, her silence speaking volumes. "I heard you the first time, officer." The words are soft, but there's an undeniable weight to them, a sharpness that cuts through the tension. Officer Collins' face tightens. He shifts on his feet, a flicker of doubt clouding his eyes. For a split second, his posture weakens, a crack in the armor of authority he's always worn with ease. He steps closer, trying to regain control, but the space between them feels wider with each move he makes. "I'm asking you for your ID. You think you're above the law?" Dr. Roberts remains unmoved. The officer's demand is loud, but it has no power here. Her presence is like a silent force, steady and unyielding. He leans in closer, but she doesn't recoil. Her calm only deepens the gap between them, an invisible line that he can't cross. His hands begin to shake ever so slightly. His assumption that he can break her will, that he can intimidate her, starts to slip away. Under his breath, "This doesn't make sense." The moment is thick with unsaid things, his discomfort, her quiet strength, the growing realization that he's losing control. The shift is slow but undeniable. Dr. Roberts' gaze softens as she stands before Officer Collins, her mind drifting back to a different time, a time when the fight for recognition was her constant companion. Her fingers tighten to grasp the straps of her purse, the weight of her past heavy in her chest. And Y presents a flashback. A younger Dr. Roberts, freshly accepted into medical school, stands outside the lecture hall. The doors are locked. Her colleagues, white men, talk amongst themselves as she stands apart, quietly observing. They don't include her in the conversation, their words laced with condescension, though they don't say anything directly. Well, she's just here to fill a quota. Her eyes narrow, the hurt subtle but deep. She's used to it now, used to being underestimated, questioned for her presence when her work should have been the only thing in question. Smash cut. Dr. Roberts, now a young resident in a hospital, moves swiftly in the operating room, her hands steady as she navigates a complex procedure. Her attending physician hovers, watching her every move with an air of skepticism. "Are you sure you're ready for this?" Dr. Roberts doesn't flinch, doesn't let the doubt in his voice affect her focus. "I'm more than ready." Her hands steady, and the surgery is a success. She sees the attending's face, a flicker of surprise, but no apology. The respect she earned was always a quiet victory. Back in the present, Dr. Roberts' thoughts race. This is nothing new. I've been here before. I'll keep fighting. The camera lingers on her steady expression, the unspoken history of her battles etched deep in her composure. The system never let up, but she's still here, still standing tall. Officer Collins steps closer, his boots heavy against the concrete. The tension in the air thickens as he stares down Dr. Roberts, his gaze narrowing with frustration. He's used to being in control, to having people flinch under his scrutiny. But Dr. Roberts stands unshaken, a wall of composure that only adds to his growing irritation. "What are you doing here anyway? You don't belong in this neighborhood. You think I don't know what's going on?" Dr. Roberts doesn't blink, doesn't even flinch. She stands with quiet dignity, her posture unyielding, as if his words hold no weight. She doesn't react, but the stillness in her makes his voice rise even further. Accusing. "You've been here long enough. What, do you think I'm stupid? Wasting my time, wasting the city's resources?" He's moving now, stepping closer, trying to force her into submission. His eyes dart to her purse, then to her face, seeking something, fear, hesitation, anything he can use to take control. But Dr. Roberts just stands there, her expression unwavering. "You're the one wasting time, officer. I'm doing my job. Are you?" Her words are a quiet challenge, but they strike with precision. Officer Collins hesitates for a split second, the weight of her calmness slowly breaking through his arrogant demeanor. His confidence falters. The power he thought he held over her now slips away, replaced by something he doesn't know how to handle. Stillness. Gritting his teeth. "I don't have time for this." But it's too late. He's already lost control, and Dr. Roberts knows it. Her calm remains a weapon, and it's the very thing that unnerves him. The silence between them stretches longer now, heavier. Dr. Roberts stands firm, her eyes locked on Officer Collins, her posture unwavering. The officer's frustration builds, his words becoming more strained, but Dr. Roberts remains unmoved. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. There's power in her stillness, in her ability to refuse to be intimidated. Angrily, "You think you can just stand there and—" Interrupting, quietly, "I think you're wasting your time, officer." Her words are soft but absolute, slicing through the tension in the air. It's not an outburst, it's a calm acknowledgement of the situation. Her words don't shout, they simply stand firm, like a wall that refuses to crumble. Officer Collins' face contorts, and for the first time, doubt flickers in his eyes. He takes a half-step back, momentarily thrown off balance by the force of her calmness. The power he thought he wielded so effortlessly begins to slip through his fingers. The air around them feels charged, but not with anger, with something more unsettling, the quiet unraveling of his authority. The crowd around them remains silent, but their gaze shifts. An unspoken understanding settles among them. They've witnessed something that doesn't need words to be felt. Officer Collins is no longer in control. Dr. Roberts' quiet defiance is a force, and it's clear to all who are watching. In her thoughts, "This is my space. I'll take it whether you like it or not." Her calm defiance is a declaration without needing to speak louder. It's a shift, a subtle but undeniable change in the power dynamic, and Officer Collins feels it. Dr. Roberts opens her purse with deliberate precision. Her fingers brush against the leather, moving with the calm grace that's become second nature to her. Her gaze never leaves Officer Collins, her eyes steady, unwavering. She reaches inside and pulls out her wallet, the motion almost too smooth, too composed. The surrounding silence feels thick now, charged with anticipation. What's taking so long?
But Dr. Roberts doesn't rush. The camera zooms in on her hand as she flips open the wallet, her fingers brushing against a small photograph tucked inside. It's only a brief moment, a flash of her name, Dr. Olivia Roberts, visible on the corner of the photo. Officer Collins' eyes flick to the name, his body going rigid. His breath catches, and for a split second, the world around him slows down. The flicker of recognition is unmistakable. His gaze darts back and forth between Dr. Roberts and the name on the photo, the weight of the moment crashing down on him. His expression shifts from frustration to shock, then to a quiet internal realization that hits harder than any words could. The arrogance that once fueled him is now gone, replaced by confusion, then hesitation. Officer Collins, softly under his breath, "Dr. Roberts." His voice falters as he tries to make sense of the situation. The reality is sinking in. He's not just confronting any woman in a neighborhood. He's facing one of the city's leading surgeons, a woman who has fought through a system of biases to achieve her place of respect and authority. The camera lingers on Officer Collins' face as the realization takes root. His power, once so effortless, evaporates in an instant. The room seems to hold its breath, and the silence between them grows heavy, suffocating. Dr. Roberts doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. The power has shifted. She stands tall, unshaken, while Officer Collins is left to face his own assumptions, now unraveling. The camera holds on him, his stance faltering, a man exposed. The shift in power is undeniable and irrevocable. Dr. Roberts holds her ID steady in her hand, her fingers brushing the edges of the card, but it's her gaze that commands the most attention. Officer Collins stands across from her, still trying to process what has just happened. The shift in power, the sudden realization of who she is, leaves him momentarily paralyzed. His confidence falters, his posture shrinking, but Dr. Roberts remains unbroken, unwavering. Dr. Roberts, calmly, without hesitation, "You'll want to call for backup." Her voice is soft, but carries the weight of an undeniable truth. It's not a demand, but a quiet, steady statement, one that makes Officer Collins pause. Her words hang in the air, the silence thick and unrelenting. They land with the force of a declaration, the final piece of a puzzle he's only just begun to understand. For a brief moment, the world around them seems to stand still. The officers nearby, the bystanders watching, all feel the shift, the slow crumbling of authority that once felt unbreakable. Officer Collins looks at Dr. Roberts, his eyes searching for some sign of submission, some hint of fear, but there is nothing. Her calmness is a wall, unyielding and silent. Officer Collins, voice wavering, I didn't. But his words fall flat, swallowed by the weight of the silence between them. The officer, once so certain in his position, now stands unsure. His power, once tangible and commanding, slips through his fingers like sand. He's left staring, unable to move, caught in the quiet force of Dr. Roberts' challenge. Dr. Roberts doesn't flinch. She doesn't need to. Her calmness speaks louder than anything he could ever say. The balance of power has shifted. It's no longer his to command. Dr. Roberts stands before Officer Collins, her body still and composed, but inside her mind, the memory of years spent fighting for respect echoes like an unrelenting drumbeat. The words of the officer blur into the background as her thoughts drift back to the beginning of her career, to the moments when doubt was cast upon her ability simply because of the color of her skin. Flashback. Medical school. Dr. Roberts, a young medical student, walks down the crowded hallway of her medical school. The sound of her heels clicking against the polished floor is drowned out by the whispers from her classmates. She overhears one comment from a student as they pass by. "She's only here because of diversity quotas. Can she really handle this?" The words sting, but she pushes forward. Her credentials are impeccable, yet she's treated as if she's in the room by chance. Flashback. Residency. Cut to a hospital operating room. Dr. Roberts, now a resident, stands confidently at the surgical table. An older male doctor, with graying hair and a look of skepticism, stands next to her. He watches her closely as she navigates the procedure, his eyes sharp but not approving. Older doctor, dismissive. "Are you sure you're ready for this? Maybe we should get someone more experienced." Dr. Roberts doesn't flinch. She continues her work, her hands steady as she moves through the steps. Without raising her voice, without feeling the need to prove anything, she simply gets the job done. The surgery is a success. Dr. Roberts, thoughts. "No one will silence me. Not here, not ever." The moment solidifies her position as one of the top surgeons in the city. But the fight isn't over. Dr. Roberts thinks back to the countless moments where she had to work harder, be better, just to be seen as equal. The weight of those battles never truly fades, but with each challenge, she grows stronger, more resolute. Present moment. Back in the parking lot, Officer Collins' voice rises again, but it's now a dull hum in the back of her mind. Dr. Roberts faces him, her calm demeanor a shield forged from years of systemic battles. She's been here before, and she won't back down. The air between Dr. Roberts and Officer Collins thickens with each passing second. He steps closer, his boots heavy against the pavement, his body language shifting from authoritative to desperate. He's not used to this, not used to someone challenging his power, not without fear. His words are sharper now, tinged with frustration. Officer Collins, gritting his teeth, "You're too calm for someone like you." The words hang in the air like a poison, his judgment now fully revealed. His gaze hardens as he watches her, trying to find any sign of vulnerability, any crack in her composure. He's certain she doesn't belong here, certain that someone like her doesn't fit into this neighborhood, doesn't fit into his world. Officer Collins, louder, more commanding, "I'm asking for your ID, now." Dr. Roberts doesn't flinch, she doesn't back down. The quiet strength that has carried her through years of discrimination in her career is on full display now, standing unwavering before him. The tension in the air grows thick, but she remains a calm force, a storm that doesn't need to show its power to know its strength. Officer Collins, thoughts. This is nothing new. This is what they always do. Question, dismiss, belittle. but I won't explain myself. Not now, not ever." Her fingers curl around the purse strap, but she doesn't move to open it just yet. Her stillness in the face of his escalating aggression is the rebellion, the quiet challenge that unsettles him more than anything she could say. He can feel his control slipping, and the arrogance he's relied on for so long begins to crumble. The more he pushes, the more she takes back power. Officer Collins, scoffing, trying to regain his authority. "You think you're too good for this?" Dr. Roberts remains silent, her eyes locking with his. Her gaze is steady, unyielding. Her dignity is the loudest thing in the moment. She doesn't need to explain, because her calm speaks louder than anything he could ever accuse her of. Officer Collins stands tall, his chest puffed with the false confidence of authority, but his eyes betray him. He watches Dr. Roberts with increasing suspicion, as though his continued questioning will somehow reveal the truth he's already convinced of. But Dr. Roberts, still calm and composed, doesn't blink, doesn't flinch. Her stillness unsettles him more than anything he's faced before. Officer Collins, agitated. "Who do you think you are? You're just a woman walking around here like you own the place. What are you hiding?" Dr. Roberts' expression doesn't change. Her lips part slightly, and with a quiet but sharp tone, she delivers the line that makes the air grow heavier between them. Dr. Roberts, calmly, with power, "You don't even know who you're talking to, do you?" The words land like a quiet bombshell, causing Officer Collins to take a small step back. His confident posture falters as he processes what he's just said. The room seems to freeze for a moment, the silence stretching far longer than either of them anticipates. Dr. Roberts doesn't rush. She simply opens her purse with deliberate precision, pulling out her ID. Her fingers are steady as she places it in the officer's view, the camera lingering on the subtle shift in her face, from calm to undeniable authority. The officer's gaze shifts from the ID to her face, and then, finally, to the name, Dr. Olivia Roberts. The realization hits him like a weight crashing to the ground. His face drains of color, his mouth opening and closing, as if searching for the right words, but nothing comes. He stumbles backward, overwhelmed by the magnitude of his mistake. Officer Collins, stumbling, his voice trembling. "Wait, you're Dr. Roberts?" Dr. Roberts remains silent, her gaze unyielding. The power dynamics shift in an instant. She's no longer the woman being questioned, she's the one with control. She stands there, calm, dignified, her identity now revealed, not with anger, but with the undeniable truth of who she is. Officer Collins, once full of arrogant certainty, now stands frozen, humbled, a man undone by the very biases he thought he could wield against her.
The tension is thick in the air, almost suffocating. Officer Collins stands frozen, his posture faltering as the weight of Dr. Roberts' quiet revelation settles in. His lips part, but no words come. He had once thought of himself as the unquestioned authority, but now, standing before Dr. Roberts, all his assumptions crumble. Dr. Roberts remains still, her presence unshaken, a quiet force that lingers between them. She doesn't need to say more. Her calmness speaks louder than any words could. The balance of power has shifted, and she holds it without raising her voice. Her eyes are steady, unwavering as she meets his, the space between them filled with the unspoken truth of who she is. Dr. Roberts, calmly, without emotion, "You'll want to call for backup. I think you've made a mistake." The officer's face pales as he processes the gravity of the situation. The weight of his mistake crashes down on him, and his confidence evaporates. The power he thought he wielded so effortlessly slips away, leaving him standing in a place he's never been, unsure, vulnerable, and exposed. Dr. Roberts doesn't move. She doesn't gloat. There's no triumph in her gaze. The quiet defiance in her presence is all the justice she needs. Dr. Roberts' thoughts, "I don't need to raise my voice. The truth speaks louder than anger ever could." The camera lingers on her face, calm, composed, resolute. This is her moment, but it isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming her space,
her dignity, and the unspoken power that comes from standing firm in the face of injustice. Officer Collins may have the badge, but she has the truth, and that, in this moment, is enough. The silence between them grows, heavy with the unspoken weight of justice, before the screen fades to black. The media storm surrounding Dr. Roberts' confrontation spreads like wildfire. News outlets across the country air the footage of the tense encounter, showing her calm defiance against Officer Collins. The world watches, and for the first time, many are forced to confront the undeniable reality of racial profiling in their society. The camera cuts between TV screens in different living rooms, offices, and public spaces, all of them showing the same story, the same calm woman standing her ground against the weight of systemic bias. Reporter on TV. Dr. Olivia Roberts, a respected surgeon, confronted by an officer questioning her right to be in her own neighborhood, a moment that is now igniting a national conversation about racial inequality in law enforcement. Across the country, small conversations begin to spark. In homes, people sit around the dinner table, eyes glued to the screen, questioning everything they thought they knew. Friends at coffee shops exchange whispers, their conversations now charged with a new awareness. Coworkers gather during breaks, discussing the injustice, the question of how they could have been complicit in allowing this system to exist. Dr. Roberts' dignified challenge becomes a touchstone for reflection, a moment that makes people realize they can no longer stay silent. The ripple effect begins, subtly but surely, as more people start to reflect on their own biases, their own assumptions, and how they too have been complicit in a system that perpetuates inequality. Dr. Roberts' thoughts. Change doesn't come with loud demands. It comes with standing firm, quietly, unwavering in the face of what's wrong. The next day, Dr. Roberts walks through the halls of her office, her stride just as confident as it was before. Now, though, people look at her differently. She's not just the surgeon they respected. She's a symbol of quiet, unyielding resistance. Despite the national attention, she remains grounded, knowing this is only the beginning. The quiet revolution has started, and it's one that will ripple through generations. The footage of Dr. Roberts' quiet defiance begins to take on a life of its own. A moment of stillness, of calmness in the face of aggression, spreads across television screens and social media feeds. What was once a single act of resistance now fuels a fire of collective realization. Dr. Roberts' refusal to bow to Officer Collins isn't just an act of personal resistance, it's a symbol, a beacon for those who have silently suffered under the weight of systemic racism. The video, initially recorded in an isolated parking lot, quickly finds its way into homes, offices, and classrooms across the country. News anchor on TV. A local surgeon, Dr. Olivia Roberts, confronted by an officer in a dramatic standoff. Her refusal to comply has now become a viral moment, questioning the very fabric of racial profiling in law enforcement. Social media platforms explode with discussions, hashtags, and shares. People from all walks of life are posting their reactions. Some are shocked, others are outraged, but many are finally forced to reckon with the uncomfortable reality of what they've always known but never truly confronted. The biases that govern their lives, especially in the hands of those meant to protect them. Conversations that were once hushed, whispers about inequality, about police misconduct, about racial profiling, now dominate the discourse. At lunch tables, in schools, at family gatherings, people are finally talking about it openly. One video, one confrontation, one moment of resistance has sparked the kind of reflection that had been dormant for too long. Social media post, trending. This is not just about one officer. It's about a system that allows this to happen over and over. Dr. Roberts, thank you for showing us the truth. Dr. Roberts' calm rebellion challenges the false comfort many have had. It forces those who have never had to face this reality to ask themselves uncomfortable questions. It is no longer just about a woman standing up to an officer. It's about the collective power of her defiance, calling into question a system of power that has long been protected by silence.
The press conference room is filled with flashing cameras, eager reporters, and a palpable sense of anticipation. Dr. Roberts steps up to the podium, her presence commanding the room without a single word. The chaos of the media, the clattering of pens and whispers, falls into a hushed silence the moment she begins to speak. Her voice is calm, firm, yet it carries the weight of years of struggle and the resolve of a woman who has fought and continues to fight for the truth to be heard. Dr. Roberts, with steady resolve, "This is not just about me. It's not about one officer who made a mistake. This is about a system that continuously fails those it is meant to protect, a system that allows racial profiling, that allows bias to guide decisions, to determine who is safe and who isn't. And this cannot continue." Her words are measured, deliberate, but each sentence rings out with the clarity of someone who has seen too much and remained silent for too long. As the camera captures her face, the gravity of her statement settles in. She isn't just speaking for herself, but for the countless others who have been targeted, overlooked, or dismissed by a system that is supposed to ensure their safety. Dr. Roberts, passionately, with power, "I am not asking for change. I am demanding it. This is about accountability, not just for one officer, but for the entire system that has allowed these injustices to continue. And I will not stop until we hold those responsible accountable. This is about more than one interaction. It's about every day, every single instance of inequality, discrimination, and bias that too many people face in silence." The room remains silent, the weight of her words settling over the audience. Reporters shift uneasily in their seats, knowing that this is no longer just a story about an incident. It is the beginning of a larger conversation, one that will demand action. Dr. Roberts continues, her gaze unwavering, her voice unwavering. "The time for silence is over. It's time for change." Her words hang in the air, cutting through the noise. As the press conference concludes, the world begins to listen. It is no longer just one woman's voice against one officer. It is a movement for systemic change, a call to action that reverberates beyond the confines of the press conference room. The truth has been spoken, and now it is up to the world to decide what to do with it. Dr. Roberts' story quickly becomes more than just a news story. It becomes a rallying cry, reverberating across the country in homes, schools, and workplaces. The footage of her calm defiance in the face of Officer Collins' aggression is replayed across news broadcasts, and the quiet power of her stance lingers in the air. As people watch, they are forced to confront the deeply rooted racial injustices that have been allowed to persist for too long. The conversation about law enforcement, racial profiling, and systemic bias is no longer confined to the margins. It's front and center, a topic of urgent national importance. News anchor on TV. In the wake of Dr. Olivia Roberts' brave stand against racial profiling, the conversation about racial inequality in law enforcement has sparked a nationwide discussion. What we've witnessed is more than just an incident, it's a call to action. Across the country, in offices, coffee shops, and even in family homes, the ripple effect of Dr. Roberts' words and actions begins to take root. At work, employees of all backgrounds are engaging in conversations they never thought they would have. In classrooms, students ask their teachers questions they've never asked before. In living rooms, families sit together, reflecting on how they've allowed these injustices to go unchallenged for too long. Dr. Roberts' message is simple, yet powerful. We cannot ignore the flaws in the system any longer.
As Dr. Roberts continues her walk down the hallway, the camera captures her expression, a mix of resolve and weariness. She's no longer just the surgeon she's always been. She's a symbol of resistance, of quiet strength in the face of injustice. But with that symbol comes the burden of responsibility. The camera lingers on her face for a moment, catching the brief flicker of exhaustion in her eyes. Despite the ongoing press coverage, the celebration of her victory, and the public admiration for her composure, Dr. Roberts knows this is just the beginning. She continues with her work, changing lives in the operating room, yet her inner dialogue remains a constant reminder of the emotional toll her actions have taken. Narration, Dr. Roberts' reflection. The fight for racial equality in my field and in society hasn't ended. It's just starting. Dr. Roberts walks down the familiar hallway of the hospital, the soft click of her shoes the only sound in the otherwise quiet corridor. The weight of her steps feels heavier now, laden with the emotional toll of everything that has transpired. She stops in front of a photograph on the wall, a younger version of herself, bright-eyed and full of ambition, captured in a moment of promise. She stares at it for a moment, her fingers gently brushing against the frame as her mind drifts back in time. Internal monologue, Dr. Roberts. It's not about being loud or violent. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stand still, let the truth show itself, and wait. She pauses in the moment, her gaze softening as the memory washes over her. Flashbacks flicker in her mind, the sleepless nights studying, the moments when her worth was questioned, the silent battles she fought to prove herself in a world that doubted her. She can see herself in the classroom, overlooked by her colleagues, dismissed in meetings, and quietly resisting the systemic racism that tried to undermine her every achievement. The camera focuses on Dr. Roberts' hand resting on the frame, the quiet strength in her touch echoing the resilience she's displayed throughout her life. Her reflection is not filled with anger or frustration, but with a quiet acceptance that she has fought hard for every inch of progress. Through every moment where she was dismissed or undermined, she chose silence over confrontation because she knew that silence had power. Narration, Dr. Roberts' reflection. Even when the world around you tells you to shout, sometimes the greatest strength lies in standing still, waiting, letting the truth speak for itself. This moment becomes a symbol of her journey, a journey that didn't demand the world's attention, but one that slowly and steadily changed the course of history. She may not have shouted, but her actions have spoken louder than any words could. Dr. Roberts walks through the bustling hospital hallways, her footsteps steady and deliberate. Despite the admiration she receives, her gaze remains fixed ahead, not searching for validation, but for purpose. Her journey hasn't ended, it's only just begun. As the news of her testimony continues to ripple through the public, Dr. Roberts' name becomes synonymous with quiet strength, and the collective consciousness starts to shift. Internal monologue. I never asked for this recognition, but if it helps spark the change we need, then it was worth it. The camera lingers on her as she moves through the hospital, the weight of her actions settling into her bones. The world around her may not fully grasp the depth of the transformation she's ignited, but her resolve is unwavering. In the offices, homes, and classrooms across the country, people begin to question their roles in perpetuating racial bias. Conversations unfold where they hadn't before. In quiet corners of social media, the seeds of a slow but undeniable change are being sown. Narrative reflection. The ripple effect of Dr. Roberts' courage is subtle but powerful. While the media continues to replay the footage of her confrontation with Officer Collins, the larger conversation about systemic racism, especially in law enforcement and healthcare, begins to take center stage. The spotlight on her testimony forces others to examine their own unconscious biases, making them more aware of the injustices they may have turned a blind eye to. In small offices, living rooms, and classrooms, the words Dr. Roberts spoke, the quiet defiance she exhibited, spark reflection. Change is not instantaneous, but it begins. Policies are reviewed. Conversations that were once hushed are now heard, albeit with hesitation. Yet through it all, Dr. Roberts remains resolute. She has created a space where the fight for equality can begin, where truth no longer hides in silence. Visual moment. The camera pulls back as Dr. Roberts continues walking through the hospital, her posture strong, her steps purposeful. Though the journey ahead is long, her legacy, one of quiet defiance and enduring strength, is already reshaping the world around her.